So the first topic I'm going to talk about is the actor Ebon Moss, who's going to be playing Ben Grimm the Thing in the MCU Fantastic Four reboot. Talked about is he going to be in a practical suit or is it going to be mostly kept to CGI? I personally love what he said. Let me say this: I'm a big fan of practical effects, but I do think there are certain characters where CGI looks better. So this is what he said. I don't think it's the suit. Michael Chiklis was wore a suit. Payonetti of the suit was really uncomfortable. We're past that, I think. It's a little cosplay, amateur now with technology. It's mostly performance capture. And look, it's not like he said anything saying that like practical effects are bad or anything like that. But I think when you go and look at that Michael Chiklis, and look, I love Michael Chiklis as a thing. I think him and Chris Evans were the best casting decisions of those Tim Story movies. I think he miscast on every character except for those two. Like Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis were fantastic as the characters. But I've always felt this is that I was never a fan of the suit Michael Chiklis wore in the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies. They just, even back then, they looked just like somebody in a cosplay suit or just outdated. And I understand it's a guy in a rubber suit. I get that. But it just looked really fake to me in both movies. And it just felt like the thing wasn't the right size of how big the character is. Like, the whole point of Ben Gunn when he turns into this thing is that he looks like a monster. Less human. And it always felt like every time I watched the Sim Story ones, it really did feel like a cosplay rubbered suit. Like, it just didn't look good to me personally. And look, if it looked great to you and you're a fan of those Tim Story movies and you felt like it worked for you, the Michael Chiklis, the practical rubber suit he was wearing in those movies, that's great. But for me personally, I want to see the thing in CGI. Like, even the 2015 film, which I don't like that one either, I actually prefer the thing, how it looks in that movie for the time period it came out in. And, I mean, the only issue I had with the way the thing looked in that movie was him not wearing pants throughout the whole movie, which I thought was just a weird... It's like one of those things you wouldn't think would be that big of a deal. But, like, to me, if he do the thing, he should be wearing pants at least throughout the movie. Like, it just felt weird, like, him not wearing pants. It's like one of those things that sounds goofy, but it just never looked right to me with the fact he wasn't wearing pants throughout that movie. But I think for me, like, I want to see a CGI. And I agree with the actor. We say, technology has advanced. I mean, I know, like, I know for some movie fans, it's like everything has to be practical. I agree to a certain point. I think the characters, like I said, need to be CGI. I love the old Hawk show with Lou Fango, but the way the Hawk looks in that show, where it just looks like a guy, like somebody sprayed green paint on him or something like that, use a green spray. It just looked really goofy. Like to me, I prefer the look of the Hawk in the Avengers movies. Like, I love the way the Hawk looked in the Avengers movies and Thor Ragnarok. That, to me, still looks great. And the Hawk is the type of character where you need to do CGI. And I feel the same way about the Thing. When you look at, because I feel like sometimes people will think CGI is bad. CGI can look great if used properly. Like the Hawk in the first Avengers movie in Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok. Thanos. He looks fantastic in Infinity War and Endgame. That still holds up. Like, he felt like a real character. You connected to Thanos. He's considered one of the best villains in MCU. And you felt the emotion of the character despite him being mostly cast to CGI. I mean, the new Plans 8 movie coming out this year. That's taking place decades after the previous trilogy. The CGI on the apes, they look real. They look fantastic. Look at Golem and Lord of the Rings. In my opinion, that still holds up. And it feels like a real character. I mean, one of the greatest characters created in film history, in my opinion, is Caesar from the previous Planet of the Apes trilogy. You felt for that character. You bought into that character. So, my whole thing is always that, look, I think there are ways to do practical stuff that can look good. But I also think there are certain things that just look better CGI. I think certain characters, in my opinion, look better CGI. And with a CGI thing, you can do more too. You can get more action scenes out of that version of the Thing. you're not so constrained with somebody being in a rubber suit. So I think sometimes film fans kind of miss that type of stuff. Where like, look, I'm a film fan. I love practical effects, but personally for me, I know everybody's have a different opinion. I understand why some people just want the thing to be completely practical. I think there's a way to do a combination of both. But I do agree with the actor where, look, we got to a point where motion capture weight can look really good. I just gave you a bunch of examples right there where motion capture created some great CGI characters that still look good to this day. So for me personally, I'm glad to hear they're gonna go motion capture. Like, if you want to get like how the thing looks in the comics, and really get the vibe this is a guy who looks like a rock monster, and get him to really do some cool action scenes, to me you go motion capture. So the next topic I'm gonna talk about is, alright. So Jake Gyllenhaal, the Roadhouse star, he was saying apparently, because I know right now there was no Roadhouse movie is suing, I think the studio with the new movie coming out, Amazon, because I think they're releasing it on a streaming service, Amazon Prime. So he's suing studio, the original writer, and I see. I don't know if the writer's a guy or a girl, but the original writer is suing Amazon Prime. I'm not gonna get into that, but I thought this was interesting. That Jack Gyllenhaal was saying that Roadhouse was always meant to be a streaming movie, but the director of Roadhouse, I remember him like saying he didn't go to premiere because he, like, Amazon, from what it sounds like, Amazon said that this movie would be released in theaters. So Jack Gyllenhaal's comment basically contradicts what the director is saying. And to me, this, it sucks with Roadhouse that this movie's going through so much right now with the original writer of the original Roadhouse movie suing Amazon Prime, Jake Gyllenhaal contradicting what the director said, and I think he said it in a nice way. So, and it's just, I would love to see the director come out and kind of make a statement and make this clear, because here's the thing: it's just it's becoming more about all the drama with this movie and less about people being excited for this movie. And look, I'm on a look I'm on the director side if like the director is right in the regard that, okay, the Amazon Prime, promised him a theoretical release, but he didn't get that. But if he's lying, that just makes that to me makes the director look really bad. Because in my opinion, like, if the original deal was that it was always going to be a streaming movie, then I don't understand why the director would be angry about that, will lie about that. So it's just, I think this, like, if Joe Gyllenhaal is telling the truth, this just makes the director look bad in my opinion. And I just think, it's, this movie seems like it's like drama after drama, and I'm really excited for Roadhouse. Like, I like the trailer. I never saw the original movie, so I don't have any comment on if the original is any good or if I like that one. But I'm really excited for this remake. So I hope it ends up being a good, great movie. But it just sucks that this movie's becoming more about the drama and all the stuff happening than people's excitement for the movie. The next thing I want to talk about is Dave Bautista. So he was saying that, he only made clear that he's done playing trash in the MCU and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But he said he is open to doing other comic book roles. And I'm glad to hear this, because I do think Dave Bautista, I think he's become actually a really good actor. I think actually he's become, in my opinion, a better actor than The Rock, because I feel like The Rock is kind of stuck in this rut right now where he's just playing the same character over and over and over again. And he showed he can play other characters. But I kind of feel like he's in this rut now. And I do give Dave Bautista's credit is that he can see he's improving. And I like the fact that he does want to play other characters, and he played Trask for a long time, so I totally understand why he was done with the role after Guardians 3. But I am glad to hear that he's still open to comic book roles, because I would love to see him in like the DC James Gunn's universe. I mean, I don't think he'll be able to play a character in the MCU universe, because I understand he was in makeup when he played Trask, but you can still kind of tell it's Dave Bautista. I don't know if you could get away with that. Even though I know the MCU has reused actors for like more than one role in the MCU. So, like, I mean, you could maybe, but I would love to see him just in a DC universe. I mean, I know, I remember he was like saying he wanted to play Bane. I think that would be a great choice for him, but I would definitely be excited to see him in more comic book roles, Dave Bautista, because I do think he's becoming a really good actor actually right now, and I definitely like to see him play something that's different from Drax. The last thing I'm going to talk about is this is the big thing. So James Gunn put out a post where he showed the logo for Superman's costume. And I gotta say, I love the logo. I know it's inspired by Kingdom Come because I think James Gunn said like this movie is gonna be inspired by Kingdom Come, All Star Superman, and there was one other Superman comic that I can't remember. That's really great. But I love how it looks, the logo, because it looks different from the previous versions. Now we have to wait till we see the full costume. But I like how that logo looks. It definitely looks different than the other ones. And again, this just shows why I'm so excited for James Gunn, because I feel like we finally got somebody, Sis Wissadonna, who feels passionate about the character of Superman. You know, he's a comic book fan like us. He's a great filmmaker too. Like, I personally don't have much worries when it comes to him doing a Superman movie. Now, I do think it has to be great. I think James Gunn needs to like kick this universe off, and you need to make a great movie, like at least a good to great movie. Like, you can't just make a mediocre movie or a movie that was fun. Like, to me, you need to really kick off the universe. I always compare it to Iron Man. When that first Iron Man, I love the first Iron Man. When that movie came out, everybody was like, this movie is great, we can't wait to see more stories with this character. And when Nick Fury says you're not the only hero in the universe, got people excited. So in my opinion, like, James Gunn definitely has a lot of pressure with this movie to really get this movie right. But when it comes to the piss, I think it's a great logo. I love the fact he's inspired by all these different great Superman comics. I love the fact he's a fan. And then the other big news is that it's being called Superman. Now, I don't really care about titles. It is weird to be called Superman now because I got so used to calling it Superman Legacy, which I actually like that title. I never really had a problem with it. But I will say this. Also, Panty dropped this not intentionally on Superman's birthday yesterday, which I thought that was kind of a cool timing then when he dropped it. But it being called Superman, I think it's actually a great idea because there has been a Superman movie called Superman. Even though the original movie was called Superman the Movie, it wasn't called Superman. The original movie was called Superman the Movie. You had Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, Quest for Peace, Superman Returns, Man of Steel. So you never had, even the original movie, you never had a Superman movie that was called just Superman. So I actually really love that he's just calling it Superman, because it's actually not something we never had a Superman movie, like I said, called just Superman. So I think that's a great title. I think that actually makes sense because you're introducing Superman to the world, this new version of Superman. And like I said, everything I see about this movie and just how passionate James Gunn just makes me so excited for the Superman movie, because it just, like I said, it feels like it's coming from somebody that really loves the comics and loves the character. And I haven't felt that since, no offense to Returns of Man of Steel. I think they were both movies. I think both movies were fine. I don't dislike those two movies. I don't love them either. I think they both have elements that I like. They both have elements that I liked, but they also had elements that felt to me like they didn't get the character of Superman. So they were both movies where I was like, I enjoyed them, but they just lacked that really made them great, like those first two original Superman movies. And I've said it so many times in my past videos. If you have somebody who's passionate about the character of Superman, who loves the character, and really shows and talks about how much the character means to fans, to me, that makes it even more exciting. And just everything I've seen from this movie. And James Gunn as a filmmaker, I've said this too in past videos, just look at his filmography. I mean, his films are like, you're talking about a guy who did the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, a bunch of unknown characters. I love that movie. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think it's one of the best endings to a trilogies. The Suicide Squad, fantastic movie. That was his one DC movie he's directed so far, and that was fantastic. The Holiday Special, Guardians Holiday Special, I love. I mean, his weakest comic movie is Guardians 2, and I don't even think that's bad. Like, it's not great, but that's still an enjoyable movie. So it just, I think this is pissed off. Superman's logo looks fantastic. I also another thing people point out is that you can see the snow around the logo. So I'm assuming it looks like maybe it's a scene in the Fortress of Solitude. Because obviously when you think snow with Superman, you think of Fortress of Solitude. So I'm really excited to see how that's gonna look in James Gunn's version. But yeah, I think this was exciting news. Yeah, it's not the full suit, but that logo I think looks great. And again, everything I see for this movie, it just makes me more and more excited to see this movie. So that's all the movie news today. Until next time, movie fans.